Magandang araw mga kapitek. Nandito na naman tayo sa isang video na ang focus ay ang preparation ng ating mga future na licensed professional teachers. And itong let review video na ito for this session, nandito tayo sa session number 1, ay ang pag-usapan po natin ay ang principles of teaching. Sa PTEC-led program, ang ating framework na nabanggit po during the first video ay bit by bit of information para mas madali siyang ma-digest. And at the same time, you'll be able to recall kung paano itong mga konsepto na ito will be related to what you have learned in your college days. No? So nandito na tayo sa inyong, kumbaga, the last stage in the preparation para kayo ay maging ganap na licensed professional teachers. Alright, so tingnan po natin ang ating mga tanong. Bawat video na pag-usapan po natin ay naglalaman ng more or less minimum siya ng 15 items na may full discussion ng mga sagot. And as much as possible, we will be able to cover yung kanyang mga legal basis para nang sa ganon ay mas malinaw po sa inyo ang mga direksyon ng bawat item. Isa natin sa ating first question. The following are the changes that change the educational landscape of most countries. A. Rapid advances in ICT. B. Shift the economies based on knowledge. C. Emphasis on the skills required to thrive in the new economy. Or D. Change in the curricula of most advanced nations. We talk about the educational landscape at kung paano nagbago yung iba't ibang mga delivery ng education sa iba't ibang economies. So ang tamang sagot natin dito ay correct, no? It's letter D, except, no? Tandaan po natin na ang educational landscape natin ay nagbago na for the reason that there is a rapid advancement in the ICT. Yung technological innovation na binabanggit natin largely impacted the kind of the delivery of the educational program ng lahat ng mga bansa. Pangalawa, shift to economies based on knowledge. Meron tayong tinatawag ngayon na heavy shift noong ideation na tinatawag para sa pag-drive ng isang economy. Ang ibig sabihin po dito, yung mga advancement na nangyayari or yung mga mayayamang mga bansa o mga ekonomiya na tinatawag natin, ang kanilang economy ay nakabase sa knowledge economy. Sila yung mga well-established ang kanilang research program. Sila yung leading pagdating sa innovation dahil tandaan natin, ideation will lead to innovation. Okay? I-compare lang natin yung bansa natin sa ibang mga bansa. Tayo naman sa Pilipinas ay heavy user naman ng mga technological innovation na binubuo o ginagawa ng mga bansa o ng mga economy na nakabase ang kanilang development into knowledge economy. Okay? Yung mga technological advancement, tayo lang ang sumasalo ng mga produkto. Pero hindi naman tayo well-known para sa development ng mga technology na ito. Okay? Pangatlo, emphasis on the skills required to thrive in the new economy. That's the reason why lahat ng mga curriculum natin ngayon ay nakabase doon sa development ng mga skills. Okay? So yung tatlong yan, these are the different scenarios that changes the landscape ng most of the countries. Ang hindi po tama dyan ay letter D. Question number 2. Which is considered to be the most dominant concept of learning according to the OECD report, Organization of, I'm not very particular with the OECD, but Organization of Cooperation and Development. Alright? OECD report na ito, makikita niyo yan sa ating, pwedeng downloadable naman yan, yung mga OECD report na yan. But that is something to do with the collaboration ng iba't ibang mga bansa pagdating dito sa education uh, technological innovation that is embedded in the educational system. So which is considered to be the most dominant concept of learning? A, social constructivist, B, constructivist, C, adaptive learning approach, or D, idealist. Ang tamang sagot ay correct, no? Socio-constructivist. Ang ibig sabihin ng socio-constructivist is that the concept of learning is heavily influenced by the societal factors. Okay? By the societal factors. Iyan na daw po yung klase no ng dominant na concept of learning ngayon. So hindi lang siya naka-box in the four walls of the classroom but rather yung ating instruction should be well embedded in the kind of society or the context of the society where the learners are embedded as well. Okay? Kaya tingnan natin mabuti yan dahil ito po ay latest sa mga researches na binabanggit natin and very crucial yan in answering other questions later on pag kayo ay nasa actual na po na research. Okay? Ulitin natin. Ang OECD is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Okay? There are different countries no na binubuo ito. Ito ay a unique forum no where the governments of 37 democracies with market-based economies collaborate no to develop policy standards to promote sustainable economic growth. Yan ang OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. We go with question number 3. Socio-constructivist concept assumes that learning is understood to be importantly shaped by the context in which it is situated and is actively constructed through social negotiation with others. On this understanding, learning environment should be where the correct answer here is correct, no? Letter C. Dahil socio-constructivist siya at ang konsepto na ito ay nangangahulugan na ang learning ay shaped, heavily influenced by the context where it is situated, and it is actively constructed through social negotiation. Nabanggit ko kanina yung social negotiation in which a lot of factors in the society can influence. Pwedeng embedded siya through uh, the kind of context where the school is situated, the kind of economy ng isang bansa. Maraming mga factors yun na pwedeng maka-apekto dito. Kaya nga siya socio-constructivist. Dati constructivist lang eh. Pero ngayon nadagdagan siya ng additional na term na social, considering that the community or the kind of environment no, where the school is situated will be having a vital impact on the kind of learning that would take place. Okay? Kaya, on this understanding, sabi niya, learning environment should be where learning should be collaborative. Hindi mo siya pwedeng sabihin guided and structured. Kasi nga, yung konsepto ngayon ng socio-constructivist is more on self-regulated yung learning niya. No? Self-regulated. We are developing learners who can actually process their own learning, become more independent in terms of how they yung metacognitive development na tinatawag nila, meron yun. Ini-emphasize na natin yan ngayon. Learning is irrelevant to context. Definitely hindi, no? Because learning is relevant to the context. Hindi siya irrelevant. Curriculum is based on both teacher and the student needs. No, hindi po. Ang curriculum is based on primarily on the student needs. Hindi po kasama ang teacher needs doon. You have to remember the center of any kind of learning activity will always be the learner. Kaya ang tamang sagot dyan ay letter C, learning should be collaborative. Question number 4. The ability to apply meaningfully learned knowledge and skills flexibly and creatively in different situations is known as blank. For question number 4, the correct answer is adaptive expertise. This is the very basic na definition nitong tinatawag natin na adaptive expertise. Itong mga konsepto na 'to ay related pa rin dun sa pinag-uusapan natin na socio-constructivist, 'no? The learner will be able to apply meaningfully learned knowledge and skills flexibly and creatively. This is the kind of expertise that you would like your learners to develop, no? Hindi po ito adversity quotient, hindi po ito about quotient, hindi about emotional, about intelligence. But it's the ability of the learner to adapt to the kind of environment where he is embedded. Why is this so? No, bakit napaka-importante yan? Because as a teacher and as an educator, the fast-paced technology is actually putting a lot of pressure on the kind of learners that we have to be developing. 10 years back, or even 5, 10, 20 years back, ang daming mga trabaho ngayon ang hindi pa kilala noong panahon na yan. Who would have thought na ang mga technology na yan ang nag-drive, no? Para mabuo itong mga bagong mga klase ng trabaho na meron na yan. But we were not able to prepare our learners during those times because sa bilis ng technology pace, hindi nakasabay yung educational system. So the reason why, binabago natin yung konsepto ngayon. Binibigyan natin ng emphasis yung tinatawag natin na adaptive expertise. Learning to become more adaptive in the kind of or the kind of environment na meron sila. Para nang sa ganun, kapag meron siyang adaptive expertise, yung bata, magbago man ng pace ng technology ng mas mabilisan sa susunod na mga taon, kayang-kaya niya makasabay. Right? Question number 5. Which of the following refers to the pedagogical approach where teachers take the main relevant decisions about the goals of learning, strategies, and how to measure outcomes while taking care of feedback, judgment, and rewards? Go. Correct answer, guided learning. Ano yung keyword natin dito? Alam nyo, mga ka-PTEC, kapag kayo ay umabot sa video na ito, sa punto ng video na to, ibig sabihin interested ka doon sa content. So dito, mas malalaman natin na marami pala itong mga different pedagogical approaches na yan. Bibigyan mo lang ng diin yung keyword na hinahanap doon sa tanong. Which of the following refers to the pedagogical approach? Where, ano yung mga keywords? Teachers take the main relevant decision. So heavily burdened kay teacher. Okay? So kaya nga yung word guided yan eh. So yan ang tawag natin doon, guided learning. Ikaw pa rin bilang the teacher ang nagbibigay ng direksyon doon sa mga activities na gagawin. Okay? Action learning, experiential, hindi. Progressive learning, hindi po. But we will be defining that in the next how many questions. Okay? Question number 6. Which of the following refers to the pedagogical approach where learners play a much more active role in determining the objectives of the learning, and there is a strong element of learner self-organization and self-plan? Go. Correct answer, action learning. So, makikita natin yung difference niyan mula doon kanina kay guided learning hanggang dito kay action learning. Okay? Kanina, yung guided learning, we talk about the teacher playing a vital role in terms of determining the objectives and making most of the decisions in the teaching learning process. But in here, in the action learning pedagogical approach, the learner will be able to play more active role. Mas malaki yung ano niya, mas malaki yung porsyento na siya yung nakakapag-determine ng mga objectives at kung papaano niya i-self-regulate, no, yung mga activities. Kaya nga action learning ang tawag natin diyan. Question 7. Which of the following refers to the pedagogical approach where learning is not controlled by teachers? There are no predetermined objectives and where learning is determined by the context and the learner's motivation. All right, correct. So, isa na lang ang pagpipilian mo dyan. It's experiential learning. Ano yung keyword natin dyan? Tandaan natin may mga keywords yan. Learning is determined by the context and the learner's motivation. Experiential po yan. Kapag yun yung lumabas. Alright? Number 8. Emotions are the primary gatekeeper to learning. Which of the following is not consistent with this premise? Alright? Correct answer is letter D. Emotions can affect learning in selective cases. Isa-isahin po natin kasi ang emotion ay related later on in coming up with a motivational tool or a motivational factor so that bilang isang guro, makikita mo kung gaano kalaki yung impluwensya ng motivation sa inyong teaching learning process. Emotion and cognition operate seamlessly in the brain to guide learning. That's right. Okay. This emotional state of a learner will largely determine the kind of cognition na meron siya. They are seamlessly operating in the brain. Therefore, the emotional state should be properly addressed before cognition could happen. In the classroom, kailangan panatag ang loob ng bata. Kailangan ganado yung bata. Kailangan ay peaceful yung isip ng bata para masabi mo na may cognition or para magkaroon ng masasabi mong effectiveness na instruction na iyong ibinibigay. Positive emotions encourage long-term recall. Correct. Okay? Pag positive yung emotion na nararamdaman ng bata towards the teaching learning process, ibig sabihin, mas mataas yung recall or retention ng mga konsepto na itinuturo. Negative emotions can disrupt the learning process in the brain. No? Sumisigaw, namamahiya, all the negative feelings na pwedeng maramdaman ng bata, fear, other negative thoughts, for example, would disrupt the learning process in the brain. Hindi panatag yung loob ng bata, kaya natatakot, kaya paano siya matututo? Okay? Kaya nga, yung keyword natin sa task kanina, emotions are the primary gatekeeper to learning. Correct answer there is letter T. Not consistent. Kasi emotions can affect learning in all cases, hindi po lang selective cases yan. Question 9 tayo. Motivation ensures that students acquire knowledge and skills in a meaningful way. Which of the following is not consistent with this premise? Emotion and motivation, we can say that these two are related. Correct answer, letter D. Bakit? Not consistent. Because since teacher expectations have a significant impact on teachers' achievement, expectations should need to be positive while not necessarily realistic. Ang mali po na statement dito is that expectations need to be positive and realistic, but not necessarily realistic. No, it should be realistic, no? Para tugma siya doon sa experiences ng bata. Hindi pwedeng make up mind lang o hindi pwedeng assumption lang. Kailangan kapag tayo ay nagtuturo, yung expectation ay positive na nga. At the same time, it should be realistic. All right? Positive motivation towards a learning task markedly increases the likelihood that students will engage in deep learning. Kaya nga we encourage positive motivation dyan. Didevelop na skill ng isang guro ang tamang pag-motivate sa kanyang klase para nang sa ganon, mas malalim yung diskusyon. Mas malalim yung diskusyon, ibig sabihin, mas malalim din yung kaalaman na pwedeng makuha, ma-take away ng ating mga estudyante. Helping students become aware of their motivation systems will lead them to become more effective learners. Kasama ito doon sa tinatawag natin na metacognitive skills. Learners are now becoming more aware of their learning process more importantly or more specifically in this case, yung kanilang motivation systems so that they will become more effective learners. Learning environment should aim to identify and foster personal interest and the intrinsic motivation of our students. While it is true that intrinsic and extrinsic are really are significant, but we give more emphasis on the intrinsic motivation, considering that our learners are being taught to become more self-aware. Di ba? Mas magiging self-regulated sila. Ginagawa natin silang more self-regulated. The reason why we encourage more on the intrinsic motivation. Okay? I hope that is clear. Kung may mga katanungan kayo, mga kapitek, ay pwede niyong ilagay ang inyong comment sa ating comment section para ma-address po natin sa susunod natin na mga videos. Question 10. Students are more motivated to engage in learning when the correct answer, yan, when they experience negative emotions towards learning activities. Parang there's something wrong with my question. Except pala yan dapat, sorry. When they feel confident to do what is expected of them, that's right. They value the subject and have a clear sense of purpose, that's correct. And they perceive stable links between specific actions and achievements. I'm sorry with this question. Ang question number 10 natin, dapat meron siyang negative word, no? So, dapat, the reason why letter D ang sinagot natin dito is that they experience negative emotions towards learning. Okay? So, I'm so sorry for that. Ang correct answer natin dito ay alin ang naiiba doon sa apat na statements na yan. All of the first three are all positive but not on letter D. Okay? So, please take note of that. That's question number 10. 11. What is the tendency when learners experience negative emotions? Pag negative emotions ay, ayan, they direct their attention away from learning. Base sa mga researches, ito yung lumalabas, no? Na yung tendency ng learners na maka-experience ng negative emotion will largely affect the learning because ang karaniwan na ginagawa ng mga learners daw natin is that kapag mayroon silang fear towards a particular activity or maybe many different factors, ito ay nagda-drive away sa kanila, no? Para sila ay matuto, no? They direct their attention away from it. Okay? So yun po yung impact. No? They become more persistent. No, that's a positive thing. They activate their cognitive process to cope up with the negative emotion. That's not it. They start to blame others for their mistake. No? In terms of the impact of the negative emotion, the correct answer is letter A. 12. What should be the center of the learning process? Kapag hindi ko pa nasagot ng tama to, ewan ko na lang mga kapitek. No? What should be the center of the learning process? Definitely our learners. The curriculum is actually designed to develop learners that would be suited or that they can be able to make use of their learning in becoming more productive in their real life situation. The learning environment should be properly addressed so that the learners will have the maximum learning concepts to be retained. No? And the teacher should be properly trained on how to handle learners and the teaching learning process so that educational system will also become positive. Okay? Number 30. Question number 13 tayo. The learning environment is founded on the social nature of learning and actively encourages well-organized cooperative learning. Which statement is inconsistent with this idea? Social nature of learning and encourages actively well-organized cooperative learning. Alin dyan? Ang tamang sagot? Not consistent? Letter C. Bakit letter C ang hindi consistent? Because ang keyword natin in the STEM ay ang social nature of learning and cooperative learning. Tapos bigla ka sa letter C, may individualized instruction. So doon pa lang alam mo na there's something wrong with the with that, or yan ang tamang sagot dahil yan ang hinahanap natin that is inconsistent with the general idea. Yung A, B, and D are all related to cooperative learning. Okay, learning should be through social interaction, cooperative works, employment of collaborative activities. Consistent ang mga yan dun sa premise, except for letter C. Question 13. Right from the birth, the child acquires skill. His bodily organs learn to handle the things. He moves his legs and begin to crawl. What type of learning is being described? Okay, correct. Sana nakuha mo ito, mga kapite. Skill learning. Alright? Nasa keyword na natin yan, no? Kasi yun yung description ng skill learning po natin. It has something to do with the physical development that is related to the learning process. Okay? Skill learning ang tawag natin. The child gets sensations through his organs of sense and he attaches meaning to each sensation. What type of learning is being described? Sir, yung susunod, tama. Yung susunod naman, perceptual learning. Anong keyword natin dyan for perceptual learning? Organs of sense, perception, sensation. O, dapat mabilis ka dyan ha. Kapag ka sumasagot ka, alam mo na yan. So, in the 4 years of your stay in the university, dapat mabilis ka na nakaka-pick up na mga yan. Okay? So, alam mo na yung mga keywords natin. Sensation, related to perceptual learning. And, of course, our last question. Concrete thinking leads to abstract thinking, which then serves as the basis of all thinking and ideational learning. What type of learning is being described? Okay. So, maraming mga keywords dyan na minagay. Abstract, ideational. Abstract thinking, ideational learning. Kaya ang tamang sagot, conceptual learning. Alright? So, marami pa pong iba dyan, no, na pwede nating i-associate. But as of now, yan lang muna para sa ating first 15 questions. I hope na meron po kayong na-pick up kahit paano, may takeaway kayo sa video na to. Kaya, please like, share, and subscribe for more relevant review materials. I-share na rin po natin para sa ating mga kasamahan na gustong matuto at gustong makapasa at maging isang ganap na licensed professional teachers. Good luck on your journey and maraming salamat sa inyong panonood. Hanggang sa muli, please explore the channel for more videos. Thank you.